So what you're looking at right now is an example of an essay that was submitted from a previous semester, and this is the same assignment. The student was writing a This I Believe essay, something that went along with the guidelines from the This I Believe website. And here I just kind of want to take you through the different parts of her essay. This is pretty well done. You know, the idea behind the This I Believe assignment is that you choose something you believe and you find a moment or an experience that you had that shows when you created that belief for yourself, when that belief was formed. And so being able to talk about an event that occurred requires that you be able to write a narrative because it's a story, a true story about something that happened to you. And so in this student's essay, she opens with a quote, which is one of the strategies that you can use to start an introductory paragraph. And then she has her thesis statement here. Notice that her thesis statement starts with the words, I believe. That's one of the requirements for this particular assignment. Since we're following the guidelines from the This I Believe website, your thesis statement should start with, I believe, or I believe in, or I believe that. In this particular case, her thesis statement is, I believe I have the self-motivation to work towards and achieve any goal, no matter the obstacles or barriers created by myself or others. So basically she's saying that she believes in self-motivation, and the rest of this essay supports that point. So we can assume that the rest of the essay, just by reading the thesis, the rest of the essay is going to describe, in narrative form, it's going to tell a sequence of events that describes an obstacle that she overcame on her own by using her self motivation. And so the student divided her story into three parts. And so this is something that you have to think about when you write a narrative. Where are my body paragraphs going to separate? How am I going to decide when I'm done talking about one thing and moving on to the other? If something that you're describing took place over a period of time, you can think of it almost like a TV series. One body paragraph is one episode, one piece of that experience, and another body paragraph is another episode or another piece of that experience. So this student decided to describe an injury and how she kind of overcame the results or the effects of that injury. And so her first body paragraph, this section right here, is actually, oops, I'm making too many clicks, is actually explaining the what happened when she got the injury. So what actually occurred whenever she hurt herself. And then the paragraph after that takes place a little while later when she thinks that she's well, so she believes she's recovered, but she actually discovers that it's worse than she thought. So, in this paragraph, it describes kind of the initial obstacle. But then in her second body paragraph, the narrative changes. The focus of the story changes from the actual time that her knee was injured to days later when she thought the obstacle wasn't that bad, and then she discovered it was worse than she thought. And then she has a third body paragraph that takes place much later, when she's almost given up, but she discovers, like, this is where she discovers the self-motivation that she has to achieve her goals. And so that's described here in this last body paragraph. But you can't end there. You have to have a conclusion. So you can't just leave it as though it's an independent film. And those independent films sometimes they end and it doesn't feel like the movie should have ended, like something was unresolved. You end the film with the final scene of the man and the woman arguing, and suddenly the woman pulls out a gun, and then it rolls the credits, and you don't know, did she shoot him? Did she shoot herself? You don't know. So when you're writing, you don't want to leave cliffhangers like that. You want to let your readers have closure, and your concluding paragraph is kind of the strong final thoughts that they're supposed to take away with them. So you don't want to repeat yourself. You don't want to kind of say already, the things that you've already pointed out. You want to reiterate your main point without being overly repetitive. And so the student, that's kind of what she did. She reiterates some of her main points, but without being overly repetitive, and re-emphasizes her thesis statement that she believes that no matter what hinders me, even when others tell me I can't and it's impossible, I can persevere. So I'll leave this sample in Blackboard for you all to kind of look over at your leisure. But this is an example of a student essay that was going along with the This I Believe assignment that fulfills the assignment guidelines. It's actually a little bit on the long side, so it's more than 500 words, which is fine. for us. If you want to submit it to the This I Believe website, I think they want you to keep it to 500 for the actual essay submission to the website if you want it to be published. But for turning it into me, it can be up to 750 words, and that's fine. So when you have an opportunity, maybe look over, this sample student essay. Go to the This I Believe website and look at some of the essays that have been posted, there to get an idea of some of the things that people write about. You can actually, when you go to the website, so this is thisibelieve.org, you can go to Explore and browse by theme. So if you're not sure where to start, if you're not sure what to write about, there's all kinds of essays on all sorts of different themes. So you could write something that has to do with believing in nature, or you could write about something that has to do with, self-determination, or, I believe in peace, I believe in patriotism. And whenever you click on one of these themes, it will take you to a page with a whole list of sample essays on that particular theme. And you can kind of look through some of them and see if it helps you get a better idea of kind of the goal of the assignment, the purpose of the assignment, why you're writing. And the important thing to remember is that you're following the guidelines, for this website so that we can potentially publish. That would be awesome for you to have something published here. But you're also writing a narrative. That's important to keep in the back of your head. So that whole section of your book on, the rhetorical modes and the purpose of writing a narrative, that should be something that you're thinking about as well. And if you'll notice, the sample student essay that I provided you with had transition words, explained the passage of time. There was a plot, there were things going on, there were characters, there were other people involved, even though she was kind of the main character. There was a conflict, there was something she was trying to overcome, and then there was a theme, the thesis, the message that she was trying to convey. So you want to try and keep all of that in mind as you're composing your essay. You're trying to do all of those things. The This I Believe website is giving you your purpose, and it's helping you think about who your intended audience is. The group of people that would explore that website wouldn't expect you to write super formally. This isn't something where you have to write, very academically necessarily, but you're also trying to tell a story, so that's part of it too. And then you want to look back over your textbook to make sure that you understand how to make that happen. Now, as always, just let me know if you have any questions. I'd be happy to help you. Shoot me an email or we can Skype.